Today, I'm going to install the Kool RV Solution. This is for the air conditioner. If you've looked at them before, what it does is it redistributes the air coming out of the air conditioner to give a cleaner line for the airflow. I did a video on the RV airflow system that I had put into the camper. Very pleased with the way that worked. The Kool RV system built differently, but logically it does about the same thing, I believe. And so I'm gonna put it in, we'll run some tests and see how it works. So start off, of course, we'll do the famous unboxing. And out she comes. Little roll of air conditioner tape, nice touch. And the invoice. The cost on this was $84.95, and I do believe that included the shipping on it. In comparison, the airflow system, if I remember correctly, was $170 something. I don't recall if it included shipping or not. The temperature in the Wayfarer right now is 78 degrees, and that's with, I've got it set for, well, if I press it again, 75 degrees. When I first came out, the temperature was actually showing 75 degrees, and then a few minutes ago it was showing 77, and now it's come up to 78. So the first thing is, why is that happening? And the answer to that one is really quite simple. I changed the airflow, and in the small space that's in the Wayfarer, when I open these, it brings all the air straight into this one area. And with the cab being closed off, that works just fine. Now, why did the temperature come up so rapidly? Because I had closed these off, and when I close those off, that forces the air, of course, to go out through the central air ductwork, which in itself, you wouldn't think that would be that big a deal, but here's why it is. If this door was left open, had I closed it, it would have improved the situation. But right there, we've got the sun just blaring in here. This room, particularly right over the shower, is just noticeably warmer. So I'll play with this just a bit so we can get some numbers. We'll open this back up, and we'll open up the other side, and then right now, we'll check the temperature in the room. We'll pick a spot over here. And it shows, at that point, pointing up toward the roof, temperature is 81.3 degrees. When we come over and we check what's coming out of direct flow here, that shows, get it closer, 46.5. And the other side should be the same, 46.5. Now, as far as what's coming through the ductwork though, and just to give another little, like pointing down towards the floor, temperature is 71.2. Now, coming out of the duct, (46.9), and that is in front of the, call it living room TV, the recliner TV. Then as we come up in front of the front door, it is 51.2. If we come back to the bedroom area, (41.5). Next step back in the bedroom area, (40.1). And in the bathroom, (46.9). So the air coming out is pretty cool. To demonstrate the actual airflow, I've cut a little piece of ribbon and just taped it there, and I'll put some in some other places, and you can see it's just barely got a little ripple on it. That's about it. Looking to the front, that flow is actually just a little different. We've got a little more movement coming out on the passenger side than we have on the driver's side. So somehow, from the way the ductwork's run in here, coming towards the front, the flow is a little better to the passenger side. In the back, it's certainly much better on the driver's side. As far as the bathroom goes, you've got very little movement here. All right, so now we'll do the installation. First, remove the filter covers. And then, of course, the filters, which is, they got a little dust there. Yeah, I actually cleaned these not long ago. Then we'll remove 4 screws. There's one there, there. They're really quite obvious. Next, we have to take this plate off of here, which is held on by 4 screws. Now you can feel the full force of the air coming through. And it feels good. I've actually wondered if you couldn't just run it like that and be just as well off. So from the factory, it's just square. It's comes straight down and then it's square. It goes out that duct and it goes out this duct. What makes it do that is this piece we removed, that air hits that piece and then it bounces to hit to those sides. It's, not hard to look at it and go, it doesn't seem real efficient. As a matter of fact, after I'd installed the RV airflow system in the Grand Design Imagine, it wasn't long after that Grand Design began installing the RV airflow systems in their air conditioners. So while the manufacturer still continues to do what they're doing, I'm assuming I'm in a 2021 model. So if you've got a 2025 and going, no, it doesn't do that, okay, 2021, it's still doing that. What I'm gonna do is see, there's 2 bolts here. And the RV airflow system had to remove those. I don't know that has to be done here, so I'm just going to kind of lay it up in there and see what it looks like. So it's not installed yet. I just laid it up in there to see, but you can see that how the pieces come together here. And I don't see where I'm going to have to take those screws apart. So that's good. We are installed. A few things. These bolts did not have to come out, which I think is a good thing. The parts all fit together fairly well. Particularly the driver's side ductwork. Had to work with that just a bit. The passenger side over here runs reasonably straight, maybe just a little turn in it, but the driver's side makes a pretty good turn there, and it wants to kick out when you're doing that, and so you keep going back and forth between this kicking out and then the part of here kicking out. So by just working it back and forth, I was going to get enough flex in it where I can get that in, and then take the pieces in. If I were doing it again, something that, because I can feel a little air in here, I would come in and I would retape everything up here, particularly around where these bolts come through. That may be where that air is coming through that I feel. Don't know that it's enough to make any difference, but since I'm trying to stop all the leakage that I can, that would be something I would do. Right offhand, compared to RV airflow system, as I figured, truly they both do about the same thing. The airflow system, RV airflow system, the big styrofoam block I feel like it's more solid in place, less chance of leakage in it. Where this one, you are really pretty dependent on the air conditioning tape. Probably going to hold up fine, but over a course of years, you may have to come back and retape something. I just don't know on that one. But as a whole, for the price difference, hey, I have to go with this one. Just the ease of installation. This is a 2021 Tiffin Wayfarer 25 RW. Now, this is on a 15,000 air conditioning unit, 15,000 BTU air conditioning unit. To do that, you need from the Kool RV system, you have to ask for a Mach 8 unit. That's what this is. It's the one that has the ductwork that goes left and right on it. Now, as far as being able to see some difference, there is some difference back here. It's not day and night. I think if I'd have had bigger ribbons, that it would have been much more showy at that, even all the way to the back. Now, something that I'll throw out to you that I discovered along the way, and that I took out one of the vent covers because it just wasn't getting any air, and I'm thinking maybe something stuck up in there. Well, it's only, geez, that ductwork, maybe, I was gonna get a ruler, but I don't have one with me. It's about an inch from here to the top. Can't be much more than that. And then it's only, I'm gonna say, what would that be? Maybe 6 inches. So maybe 6 inches by 1 inch. So it's a very narrow channel that air runs through. Now, something that I found just in playing with it, that because the air is just going straight back here. And now even you can see the driver's side still much stronger. So I don't know what the difference is in the ductwork that's in there. Somehow there's a difference that's in the ductwork, but I can't get up in there to be able to see it. But I was able to make some difference because this is what you look like on the inside of that. So with that airflow going this way, if you can get this thing to kind of stick up just a little bit, it'll catch a little of that air. That's where I've pretty much, I would say most of the time, turned my vents to where I would have them facing, I'd have them facing towards me. Now, the problem that I discovered in playing with that is that there's nothing that slows that air down as it goes by. It just keeps on going back. So if you can turn that thing just a bit, it'll capture a little bit of air on it and move that air to where it's more of a forward position rather than going all the way to the back. In the real world, as to how I can tell you, did it work, did it not work? Well, on the thermostat, right now, if you can see, maybe 75 degrees. If you recall, when I first came in, when I had all the air blowing straight into this area, it was 75 degrees. When I changed it and put it to where it was running through the ducts, it immediately went to 77 degrees. And as I was working on the installation, it got up to 79 degrees. After completing the installation, it's come all the way down from 79 degrees to 75 degrees. and it's still 90 degrees outside. We're still in full sun. That's a success. Putting things together, this piece that went about halfway up there that separated the incoming and the outgoing air, no longer have a need for it, because this totally takes care of the outgoing air, which means the incoming air is just free to come. And in that, this piece no longer has a place to be there either. And something that just take a, for a look at to understand how some of the differences can be is, if you look at this, this is the hole that the incoming air to feed the air conditioner came through. This is now the space that air can come in through. Just to make it kind of graphic here. Quite a difference as to the amount of air that can be supplied. When we put the cover back on, these little shutters here no longer serve a purpose because there's no air going to be coming here. So it doesn't matter if they're open or closed because there's just no air going there. The air going into the unit is going to be coming through the filters here. So all we need to do is stick this back on, put the 4 screws back in place, and we'll call that done. While we got everything out, we'll go ahead and vacuum the filters. Now we can do a little one-to-one comparison. This is after we've put the Kool RV Solution in place. The front view, which still isn't as good as looking back, but I do think there's more airflow going through here also. I wish I had taken the time to, as I was doing the temperature coming out of each vent, to say which vent was which. I didn't, but I'm going to do this now. I'm going to go and I'm going to check the temperature coming out of each vent, and then I'll simply add up the scores of those temperatures, and I can compare that to what it was earlier to see if there was any difference in the actual temperature coming from the vents. Realistically, I must say I could do that job in 30 minutes. The biggest holdups that I had, let's say an hour to be on the safe side. So the biggest holdup was having to work with the tube coming off this side on the driver's side to get it flexible enough to be able to make the turn. Then the next thing is working with the air conditioning tape and trying to take the back off of it. That's like trying to unpeel a Band-Aid. It's really quite simple. It is easier to do than the RV airflow system. So that's a real plus to me on that side. I do think that functionally they're very similar. I don't know that I could tell you one does a better job than the other. The amount of airflow is better. Again, I don't know that it just blows the lid off, but it is better, and most importantly is on the thermostat, to where with the temperature being 90 degrees outside, where it had gained 2 degrees while I was working on it, once it was in place, it managed to bring that temperature from 79 degrees in here down to 75. And I don't know how low it could have gone because that's where I had the thermostat set. So I'm good with that. This, for me, for $84.95 plus tax, this is a deal, and I would recommend it to you. You may want to go back and take a look at the YouTube that I had done on the RV airflow system, because it worked very well also. And that one was done, I think, about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And I believe the name of that one was Cooler, Faster, something like that. It wouldn't be hard to find if you look through my library out there. This ought to get you what you need to know. It is something that can help you out, and I appreciate your watching. I hope you enjoyed it.